Were you surprised Draymond wasn't suspended?
Surprised? No. I'm not surprised because to me this was a simple, yeah, you're getting suspended for that. Mm-hmm. And it took them so long that I started figuring, well, what's the delay? Why so much deliberation? And so I'm not surprised that they came to this conclusion. I will say this, it's the wrong decision. And not wrong because it's going to hurt the team or it's going to ruin the season. I'm not saying that. It's wrong because it's important that the punishment fits the, not crime, but infraction.
Sure.
All right? He essentially sucker punched a teammate. Essentially. It wasn't quite a sucker punch.
You can get to a sucker punch where the guy's looking at you.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, nobody's expecting that to happen. Yep. And you just give him a fine. So I'm disappointed in the Warriors because of that. It's the wrong decision, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised at Steve Kerr's press conference there because it seemed pretty incongruous to me. This is the most serious crisis we've ever had. See you in 2 days, buddy. We'll be back for the final preseason game, and no worries, you'll get your reps in by ring night. What? Like, again, I'm not trying to be patronizing and comparing Draymond to a kid, but like in parenting, it would be like telling your child, like, this is the most disappointed I've ever been. No TV for the next 2 hours. Oh, okay. I thought things were going to be a lot worse than that, Pops.
Right,
so that part seems odd. And the Warriors, the fact that they tried to get out in front of this, seemingly before they knew the video was going to leak, to me signaled they were going to take it seriously. They were actually priming the pump, so to speak, so the media is not shocked when Draymond is suspended. And then maybe it's because it's ring night. Maybe it's because they don't want him to miss that. And that if they hadn't won the championship and it wasn't ring night, or if ring night was later in the year, which wouldn't happen, obviously, maybe it'd be suspended. But
because you're right. A lot of people are saying, oh, ring night, they didn't want him to miss. I get it. You know what, though? This is not the league mandating a suspension. This is the team. Theoretically, people might laugh. You could suspend the suspension for ring night. He could go to ring night, not play.
Though.
No, but he needs to be suspended. Maybe you could have started, maybe from the day it happened, you could have said 2 weeks from this day on, and he still would have been there for the regular season. But ring night is not a viable excuse.
Push back on that. What would that do?
Suspension?
If he's gone for 2 weeks, let's say, do you think that's going to heal the Warriors? Like, what does it do? It feels purely punitive. That ends up hurting the team.
I don't think this is going to hurt the team. I think they're going to be able to overcome this.
So I don't. And it doesn't mean I think the Warriors are screwed. I just don't think Draymond's going to finish the year with the Warriors.
Wow. Because of this.
I think that, listen, if Steph had punched Jordan Poole, I think Steph would finish the year with the Warriors. So it's not just like, you hit Jordan Poole, now we're going to have to trade you. But I think Draymond made a grievous strategic error, not that he was trying to be strategic in this. He gave the Warriors an out for something they didn't want to do. Steve Kerr and Joe Lacob and Bob Myers, in their deepest and darkest of hearts, do not want to give Draymond Green a $100 million extension.
No,
do not want to be tied to Draymond Green into his mid and into late 30s. And to be totally honest, I'm not certain they want to be tied to Clay into the latter part of his 30s, but Clay has done everything right, and Clay never would give him an out. Draymond's now giving them an out. And so here's why I think this. The Warriors, the last few years, not a great, good, but not a great regular season team, right? Last year they were the 3 seed in the West. They had a few down years. Even the final year with Durant, they weren't the number 1 overall seed in the league, even though they had all the talent, right? So I don't think the Warriors are going to be 25-3 and oh my God, they look like this juggernaut. I think they will have their ups and downs. That's first of all, in the harder Western Conference. And when Draymond's already talked about it, it's hard to get up for games against the Kings. It's hard to get up in these spots. Mm-hmm. I also think this is going to fester. And I also think that some superstar or all-star will come available. And we know the Warriors have already talked about, would we trade our young pieces for Kevin Durant? We know that they had those discussions. And I think Draymond, plus, not Poole obviously, but Moody or Wiseman or Kuminga or 2 of the 3, becomes a very attractive option in a 2 or 3 team trade. A 3-team trade where if there's a team that's like, oh, we could use Draymond and we have picks to give up, a 1-to-1 trade if it's just star for this guy. So I think the Warriors now, because they have the assets to do it, Draymond has the salary for it, and we know that they've talked about can't pay Wiggins, Poole, and Draymond. So I think they are planning on losing one of them eventually. I think that might happen before this year's trade deadline.
I do not think Draymond Green is getting traded this year. And I've talked to some people close to the team, close to the situation just today. I don't think he's getting traded. First of all, the Warriors understand his importance to them. And I know you downplayed, how he played. He didn't play well in the playoffs for the most part, but he is critical to this team. His playmaking ability, his defense, the fact that they can go small with him at center. He's not nearly as valuable elsewhere. Because for Draymond to be valuable, he can't shoot. For him to be valuable offensively, you need a point guard that's willing to move off the ball like Steph.
He would be not a throw-in in the trade, but he wouldn't be the key piece. You would be making the trade to get Wiseman or making the trade to get Kuminga.
But the other guy, the Warriors love Kuminga and Wiseman. Wiseman's, I know it's preseason, he looks great. Kuminga, we know they have high hopes for.
Don't you
and you got 3 20-point scores with Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole.
Don't you think the ascension,
and not to mention Andrew Wiggins.
Let's just say they love Wiseman. Wiseman wouldn't be in a trade. Mm-hmm. Don't you think the ascension of Wiseman could potentially make Draymond somewhat expendable?
But why do they need to make a trade?
Well, because I think that Steve Kerr said it's the biggest crisis of his career. The trust has been broken, and it's a guy that Wilds. Do you think Draymond Green is going to go the next 3 months, 4 months, trade deadlines in 4 months, without another incident? I don't. Do you think he has?
I think he will, but I think it's more interesting to try to figure out what Draymond's value to the team is, right? He's 7-7-7. That's fine. That's replaceable.
He's got
numbers. Good. I know. He's got good chemistry with Steph. That's another part. Another big part of the Draymond Green, valuable pie, what he brings to the team, is leadership.
And the edge.
And the edge.
Yes.
Is that gone? And now do you just have a guy who gives you 7-7-7 and some intensity? But not only does he do the intense stuff that you say is on the line, if you go and type into YouTube Draymond Green best mic'd up moments or Draymond Green encouragement, there are just tons of examples of him being like, you can do it. I believe in you. Is that gone now? Is that broken? That if I'm a young player, man, you punched Jordan Poole in the face. What are you talking about? You believe in me. Has he lost that?
I think from talking to some people out there that part of why this is going to work is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's personality. Now, someone told me this is not going to be as bad as the Kevin Durant situation. Now, obviously, it was worse what he did to Poole.
Durant.
Right. But Durant's personality. Obviously, Durant was a higher stature on the team as well than Poole.
I hear what you're saying, which is, listen, maybe Jordan Poole is going to he's already been the bigger man in this situation, but is going to use this as a launching point to almost a new role on the team. Now, role is not on the court, but as far as how your teammates view you. You helped keep this together. Maybe that'll happen. But I think Wilds' point is the best one, which is, to mix metaphors a bit, the reason that one of the reasons that I have never, ever have missed a day of this show, sick, pre-pandemic stuff, was because trying to set the tone early on in the show years ago of, hey, this is important stuff. We show up, you know what I mean? We show up, we come to work, we do these things. If I all of a sudden started missing days left and right, I lose that ability, right? I lose that voice in the room. Draymond's such a role for him is everything you said. Intensity guy, leader, adult in the room.
That's right.
And I think it's really hard for him, because I don't know what he does in film sessions. I don't know what he does on the practice court. But I know if I'm one of those guys and there's a moment where I'm being unprofessional and Draymond tries to check me.
Young guys.
That's what I'm talking about. Not Steph and Clay, obviously. Yeah. But if Kuminga's, I don't want to pick on, if one of the young guys is, playing Candy Crush on his phone and Draymond's like, hey, we're professionals here. You know what I'm thinking? Are we? Really? We're professional boxers? Like, what are we? What is that? And so I think you lose a little authority, and I don't think you can gain that back.
They could have thought that before, though. I mean, this obviously isn't the first incident Draymond's had.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.